Good evening, Andy.
Good evening, Blair. How are we?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Another Monday night.
Monday night, 7 o'clock on SVTV. It can only mean one thing. Another partnership.
Lunch.
Wow. What a week we've had. What a week we've had to get to this point. Let's delve back into last week before we go and talk about tonight. Obviously, we had an incredible response on social media with last week's announcement, Sam H partnership. That was a cracking week, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was a good week. Good response from the membership. I think if you didn't catch the chat with Robert last week, then jump back onto the Facebook page or YouTube and have a look back. He's just so passionate, so knowledgeable, and a great point of contact for us as a partnership with the Sam H moving forward. He's been in the role for a long period of time and really understands the connection between sport and mental health. So it's a huge key player for us moving forward, and to try and get that built into our day-to-day life and what we do as a national governing body is really important.
Yeah, we're really looking forward as a team with that challenge. We came out of that meeting and the whole staff the rest of the week were really enthusiastic about everything going forward. So that sort of teed us up for what then turned out to be an amazing weekend of volleyball for us. Beach is back, baby. Beach is back.
Beach is back, yeah. It's been great to see it. I was fortunate. I was down at the West Coast Beach Club in Troon on Saturday for the West Regional Festival. That was kind of on the back of the two development sessions that it had. I'd managed to make one. I didn't make the first one because it was actually on a Facebook Live, but great numbers and a lot of people brand new to the sport, which was really good to see. We had two full sessions, so two bubbles over the course of the morning and early afternoon. I think under 14s first, under 16s, under 18s next, and some great volleyball played. But for me, the most pleasing thing to see was a lot of new people to the sport. A huge number of people that had never played before. It was our first opportunity to compete, and we were really fortunate at Sunshine. We had a great day for it, and the beach was relatively busy, so a great advert for our sport, and nice to see as well the exact same thing happening through in the East Coast at Portobello on Saturday, and then St Andrews on Sunday.
Yeah, it was a full calendar for us in terms of the events that we had planned, and the beach volleyball clubs that we've got within our membership really stepping up and taking a lead on that and driving it. I mean, I came down to Troon on Saturday just to show face and to observe from a distance with the family, and it looked fantastic. Really impressed with the layout. The guys at the club did a lot of work. Obviously, you'd pitched in and helped significantly. There was a lot of good signage, so everybody that was looking in was getting a really good impression of how we were set up to tackle the current COVID situation. And then the plus side was the volleyball was pretty excellent. So a fantastic way to round off our week. We're coming off it as a bit of a high. I know that the social media posts from across the country was extremely well received. So
yeah, it definitely was across Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, the content's been brilliant, and it's great to see all the pictures of the kids enjoying themselves and back to playing sport. And from our point of view, really reinforcing that play it safe message, just to make sure it's the world's the eyes of the world are on us when we're doing sport. We're in a fortunate position where we're allowed to get together in quite large groups, considering compared to the rest of the country. So it's important that as a governing body and as clubs out there, that they really follow the letter of the law with regards to the play it safe guidance and make sure that we're doing everything right to play our part.
Yeah. Again, the same pattern was followed in the East End at St Andrews. So a fantastic achievement for us to be able to do that, and hopefully we're going to be able to get that to the culmination event, which is coming up at the end of this week. But before we talk about that, Blair, we've been sitting on this one for a long time. It seems like we've had these conversations. I mean, it's almost like a lifetime ago we started these conversations, but we're now there. We are now able to come out and go public with our partnership with University of Western Scotland. So excited about this chat tonight.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to get some off the board. You're right. I think everything pre-COVID feels like a lifetime ago, but this one in particular was. You know, we were in doing a bit of delivery. I think it was the tail end of last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the beginning of this year. And it kind of started with a bit of a chat around about that, and that chat turned into a bigger chat. And it's really been gathering momentum since then. And what I really like about the partnership is, or the project, the proposal is, every time we talk to Drew and Harry, something else comes up and I think, yeah, let's do that and let's do this, and it's going to grow in arms and legs every time, and every single bit is a benefit. I'm really, really impressed. I just had a quick chat there, backwards and forwards, with Ali Jack on kind of WhatsApp, and saying, look, there's a huge potential for this to really raise the profile of our sport and to improve the ability for our coaches and our players. And obviously we'll touch on that as we go through the night. But yeah, really excited about it.
Well, he's been waiting backstage, and he's going to come on and he's going to talk to us about this whole project and how it came about and a little bit about himself. So let's bring to the screen Harry Warburton. He's the one of the lecturers of the sports coaching and development at UWS. Good evening, Harry. Welcome to SVTV.
Good evening, everyone. How you all doing?
Good, thanks.
Great time. Great to have you. We've been sitting on this announcement till the end of our September to Remember, but here we go. We're delighted to say that we have, after numerous conversations, managed to get our signed partnership agreement across the line.
Yeah.
Excited?
Yeah. Oh, we're over the moon. We feel very similar to what you guys are saying, that this is really a win-win for everyone involved. We do think this is going to be a reciprocal relationship that's going to benefit the students, but it's also going to benefit you guys and us as staff members as well. So it's only going to be a good thing in our eyes as well.
Yeah, we're delighted that we've managed to get it across the line. So, what we're going to do now, Harry, is we're just going to get a little bit about you, because obviously you're one of the lecturing staff who is involved in the delivery of that degree there. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you ended up, where you ended up, and then we'll just unpick as we go some of the detail that you give us. So over to you, Harry.
Sure. Well, I'm actually a former graduate of the original sports coaching and development degree, which was delivered at SRUC at the time. I graduated in about, I think it was 2013, and then was in a fortunate position to be offered some maternity cover as a lecturer, which I wasn't really expecting being a graduate. I seemed to do quite well at that and got kept on and made full time before our department got transferred to UWS, which I think was around about 2015, 2016. During that time, our programs become more and more popular. I think at the time that we moved over, on the 4 years that we deliver to our sports coaching and development students, we had maybe about 70 odd students. I think, all things considering with COVID, I think we're looking to have around about 250 this year. So the numbers are going up, the course is doing well, and we're really happy about this partnership that's going to really provide some applied sporting experience to maybe just bring some of the elements of the course to life even more for the students, and to really create some workability or employable students and skills going forward. So yeah, we're over the moon, and I hope that's enough about me and more about the partnership.
Perfect. In terms of your sporting background, what's your sporting background for the viewers?
So I'm a big football fan, unfortunately a Newcastle United fan, so let's not talk about yesterday, please. That would be much appreciated. So I've not really been in a good mood today until this got announced quite early on, so that was good for that to happen. Played quite a bit of football, not very much at a high level. Unfortunately, lots of injuries and just simply wasn't good enough. I do quite a lot of triathlon stuff now, so that's really my hobby. But like most sports, that's really been had a bit of a kick in the teeth this summer. And kind of my area of research is really kind of sports psychology. So I'm just coming to the end of my master's at doing a sports psychology degree at Staffordshire University, which has been online, which is quite fortunate for myself, because obviously, like many universities, we're going to move to online teaching due to the current pandemic. So really focusing on sports psychology and more kind of social identity and team building work. That's kind of my focus.
Brilliant. Yeah, we talked off air about your master's program, and you said you should have had that all done and dusted by now. Just COVID's completely got in the way. So Well, what are you thinking in terms of completing that? How much longer are you going to have to do the distance learning?
Well, I was doing my thesis, so it came very much to the delivery of the applied intervention that I was doing, which is a team building intervention, and I'd planned to do it with a national squad in a different sport, and that had all been approved. And I think I was 5 days away from collecting the data before we went into lockdown. And obviously, national team sport has been one of these things that have been badly hit, and it's not just one team that's affected in this. You need to think about lots of other teams playing at the same time. So at the moment, my kind of thesis is on the back burner, and I'm just waiting until I can get the go ahead to collect data from a team and then finish up.
All right, and well, how are you going to collect that data? Have you got something in mind?
Well, at the moment, it was meant to be with the Scottish national team, with one of their under 17s team, and that might still happen at a further date, but we'll wait and see. But there are talks ongoing that maybe volleyball might be interested, and we'll see from there. But there's many irons in the fire at the moment. We're just waiting to see which is the best fit, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's excellent. We're glad that we can maybe provide you an avenue to collect your data and get you across the line with that Masters. In terms of your day today, you mentioned that you're getting ready to go online and deliver to what was an incredible number. Was it 250 students?
Yeah, yeah.
How are you feeling about that? Are you confident with it? Are you ready?
We hope we're ready. We won't really find out until day one, I guess. And I think that's going to be something that the students and staff are going to have to realise, is that, like in many universities, we're not going to get this right. But I honestly think this will bring around a lot of good things for students. It'll give them maybe a lot more time to digest information, and it'll maybe give them the opportunity to actually research more about what they're learning, and there might be more beneficial ways of learning for students as well. And it's maybe not going to be as pressurized as it can be maybe when you're put on the spot in an actual class. But obviously we all miss classroom-based learning, and the sooner that can come back, the better. But yeah, I do think that the way that we're going with this hybrid model at UWS is that hopefully we can get a nice balance between teaching online and maybe offering some applied experience on campus when it is safe to do so.
Yeah, I think you're feeling the same sort of feelings we're having with the whole situation. The sooner we can get back out into that real, tangible, real life experience, the better. Let's get right in about the meat and bones on our partnership agreement. So, Harry, we met. That was a long time ago. I was delivering the level 1 with you guys at Inverclyde, and Blair and I had then hooked up in a conversation about that whole process, and then that resulted in us coming back down to you guys at UWS at Ayr and delivering an intro award. So let's just talk about the connection that the course has with volleyball, and then how we've then looked at our whole process for getting the ball rolling with this partnership.
Sure. So obviously our course is very applied, and we've got really core modules throughout the 4 years which are practical in nature and allow students to coach. And traditionally, depending on the numbers and the resources, we would encourage students to maybe practice in peer groups that we'd assess, or they'd maybe use their own kind of resources that they know. But you guys coming in are actually going to be providing some expert knowledge and experience to allow the students to really gain some tangible experience of how to coach in maybe a more untraditional sports setting than a lot of them are used to. Because obviously we have a lot that come in and they have maybe a great football knowledge, but again, that's not always transferable to other sports. So we really think that you guys can help in the practical side. And again, that will maybe bring benefits for other modules as well, whether that be placement kind of based modules, as well as maybe sports science modules as well, where we allow you guys, or you allow us to kind of provide applied experiences where, you know, these students can kind of put theory into practice. Sorry,
Blair, have we got Drew backstage?
We do indeed. We do indeed. Let's bring Drew on.
Hi guys.
Good evening, Drew. Welcome to SVTV.
Thank you very much.
You've been out coaching, and you've just managed to get back home in time for joining us.
I've been coaching my son's football team, 5 and 6 year olds. It's not that easy.
It's a set of skills that you have to master. So we've got you are Drew Wallace. You are the program leader of the sports coaching and development course at UWS. Welcome along. We're just sort of picking Harry's brains a little bit about how volleyball had sort of dovetailed into the course that you guys are running down there. We'll just backtrack a little bit, Drew, and dig deeper into your sporting background. What's your sort of sporting background, and what's your sort of academic sort of field in terms of studying?
Okay, so my sporting background's pretty varied. The two sports I've kind of spent most time in are golf and football. At the ripe old age of 42 as I am now, I'm still actually managing to compete at football, and in the loosest sense of the word, but the old body feels it, but I'm hanging in there. And actually lockdown, one of the things it was good for was getting back into golf, because it opened up relatively early compared to other sports. So I've actually played more golf this season than I have in about the last 20 or something like that. So they're my main sports of interest, but I'm just sport daft. I like just about every sport. I'll watch any sport on telly, which links on to my kind of professional area, which is sports psychology. And as somebody who provides sports psychology support, I work across a wide range of sports. I always think I've worked in about every sport, and then every now and again a new one will come up. And also I'm in charge, or traditionally I've been in charge of the kind of practical side of coaching on our degrees. So that's involved teaching the practical skills and also going out and assessing students, coaching in all different sports. Done quite a lot in volleyball for that. We've had a number of students come through. I'm sure you guys know them fairly well. They are heavily into volleyball. So that's it really, briefly. Don't want to go on too much.
Yeah. Oh, there's the boss. She's welcoming you to the show, and she's very excited about this new partnership. Same for you, Harry. We're excited to be working with you. So before you joined us, Harry was just giving us a little bit of flavour about the courses. Let's talk about how many staff have you got sort of working on this course, and the varying sort of modules that we might be able to have an impact with the students on going forward. Who wants to take it?
I'll start. Harry's been doing all the heavy lifting up until now. I'll come in and then Harry can elaborate. So we have roughly 230 sports coaching and development students on the Ayr campus of UWS. We are very closely linked to other sports courses on the Lanarkshire campus. It's a brand new multi-million-pound state-of-the-art campus built up near Blantyre. They do 3 sport-related degrees up there, and we're all part of the one division. The division's called Sport and Exercise. So they've got a sports coaching degree and a sports development degree and a sport and exercise science degree. So we do all work very closely. But as a student of a UWS sports course, you're assigned really to either the Ayr campus or the Lanarkshire campus. And Harry and I deliver exclusively on the Ayr campus. So we've got about 230 students. We've just recruited another member of staff to take us up to 7.2 members of staff. And the 0.2 is because 2 of them work 3 days a week, and one being my wife, Laura, and another one, Kirsten Price. They both work 3 days a week. So we're a growing course. I don't want to go too much into the history of our course, but we used to deliver our programme out of Scotland's Rural College, SRUC, which share a campus with UWS. And at that point, we had 100 or so students. And then the course transferred all the students, all the staff over to become UWS. And from then, we've grown year upon year. actually we have more demand for the course than we have resources to deliver. So the course is outgrowing in popularity, and it's great for us, great for the programme, and making links with yourselves and other national governing bodies and sport organisations is really, really important to us, and we think it adds a lot to the experience that the students get when they come on the programme. You want to add in, Harry?
No, I think you've covered a lot there. I think maybe just to build on maybe the point I was kind of making before Drew came in is that the modules, this really might help. I think also moving forward throughout the years, access for students to be able to gather data for their own projects at dissertation. This is going to be really useful for them, because we do get students that can be quite confused and daunted by the prospect of doing a dissertation, and knowing that you guys are there and you might have problems or areas of research that you want our students to get involved in, that could really help both them and you guys in the long run. So I think that's going to be, going forward, a really useful way for everyone to improve.
I mean, we were discussing this way before COVID struck. We had looked at the delivery that Scottish Volleyball had done on behalf of UWS. We put the degree students through their level 1, but we felt that they'd done that quite late on in their journey. Where you can come in and tell us about a little bit about your experience, but we felt that it was a bit late in their journey for them to actually get the benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean, from my own personal point of view, for those who don't know.
Yeah,
I think.
Where you go, Blair?
Sorry, Drew. I'm just going to say, from my own personal point of view, I wasn't. I came through uni and went to UWS, and Drew and Harry were there at the time, and just at that kind of process when it moved from into UWS, and I did my level 1 coaching course, which I think I'd done many moons before it at Langside College, but I redid it at Inverclyde with your predecessor, Andy. It was Tommy that delivered that course for us over a kind of residential week. That was a module that Harry delivered, and it was brilliant. It was great to get that hands-on experience with a national governing body, and as much as I really enjoyed the course and I would recommend them to go and do it, I do think there was probably opportunities maybe throughout the course to tie in more with national governing bodies, and it was something that I was really, really keen on when I was fortunate enough to find myself in the role that I'm in just now. And when we started to look at some of the dots that we could probably join up there to say, yeah, we're doing an intro course possibly in year 1 or year 2, and we're doing a level 1 in year 3, maybe year 4. Could we try and formalise that and make sure there's a pathway all the way through for students, so when if they want to, when they're leaving after 4th year with their honours, they've been right through a practical coaching education, and at the same time they've had the ability to do some workplace placements and really given a great example of how they can work with us.
So you want to pick up on that from your side?
Yeah, I mean that's all kind of right on line with what I was going to say, that we work closely with a whole range of different sport bodies and organisations, and of varying levels of formality, from really informal to formal agreements like we've got with yourselves now. And the idea, I mean, we're really, really focused within our programme of the end result being getting people jobs in sport, and jobs that they love, and that they get up in the morning and look forward to going to work. And Blair's a perfect example of that. And the way the route Blair took it was almost down to luck, or his own kind of proactiveness that he did it. And we wanted something, just again, as Blair says, a pathway that's more formal and more clear for students when they sign up on our programme. They can see, right, I'll do that with Scottish Volleyball in 1st year, and then that'll lead on to doing a placement in 2nd year, and they'll do a placement in 3rd year where I'm actually running a project, and then I'll make my dissertation all about something that's useful to Scottish Volleyball. And by that time, they'll be so well known to yourselves and people within that national governing body that we're hoping they've impressed them enough that they want to give them a job, and they don't see any risk whatsoever in hiring them because they know exactly what they're capable of, and the stuff that they've done in our degree is relevant and useful and makes them work ready, as UWS like to call it, with a graduate attributes. Slip one in there. But that is the whole plan. The vision is we get people embedded in these organisations early on for a long time before they're graduating out and having to compete against hundreds of other sports graduates, which there are now. And I think, well, I know our students are fed up with us going on about how they have to do things that make them stand out as compared to the other graduates. But this is an excellent example of what we're trying to do with yourselves is people going out not just with the basics of a degree, but they've got the additional coaching qualifications, they've got experience working in your office, they've got contacts throughout a national governing body, and we think hopefully could make a difference when it comes to that point of trying to get a career.
Yeah, we're very clear on our thinking on this one, Drew, because there's so many, like you say, so many graduates are going to be coming out with that degree, and sometimes what they're looking at is that's just the access to the interview. It's the other stuff round about it, the more tangible, practical, hands-on experience that often lets a graduate down. And what we're hoping through this partnership is that we'll be able to put them into different areas of our business, to introduce them into that working life, to give them the opportunities to work in partnership with some of the other areas of our partnership work, the likes of local authority or active schools, or even with our events team. I think when we had a wee pre-meeting today just to finalise some of the detail, and Blair and I were talking about what an amazing opportunity it would be to come on board and work with a governing body on a project that actually has some real finances behind it, where, you know, a student who make an amazing project and write that up for you guys, as opposed to, you know, maybe going out on a local club and doing a few sessions and really not getting enough hands-on experience. So I think that's what we're looking forward to bringing to your table, and the students as well. I think it's going to be an interesting one for us to try and convince them, though. How do you think we'll get on with that? Harry, how do you think we'll get on with the convincing the students that this will be a good thing?
I think Blair's going to be a great asset for that, because obviously he knows the programme, and you know he's done well on the programme, and he might already know students from it. So he's going to be able to really get them on board for a start. And I think, you know, volleyball is a growing sport, and people are more aware of it than maybe they have been before. And I think obviously coming out of lockdown, people have maybe, you know, reflected on what they've done in terms of their sporting opportunities before, and then possibly more open to try different sports. And I think volleyball's such an inclusive sport, and it's something that's obviously something that many people can play in various locations, and obviously it's something that's not as impacted by COVID than maybe other team sports. That this is maybe something that students are going to be easily keen to buy into.
Yeah, again, you've used the word inclusive, Harry. And in the course that you deliver, do you have a module that's based in around inclusion?
Well, we'd need David Meir, our staff member, on here to talk about that. We have he delivers contemporary issues in sport and other kind of sociological issues where he'll, you know, discuss these important matters. And yeah, so we definitely do cover them, and they're something that will be wrapped around the course throughout every year.
Yeah,
it's actually, sorry, just to cut in there, it's a bit of a stream that runs through our programme. Again, if you're looking at different levels, for the first years we'll do a module called Introduction to Sport Development. Within that, inclusion's a theme, and then they'll go into one called Developing Sport for Targeted Groups, which I know we've talked about specifically with yourselves, and how you could help with the delivery of that, and how students could come out and get involved in events where inclusion is a big focus. So it's just another example of where we align really well in what we're doing with our programme and what you guys are doing as a national governing body.
Yeah,
I think, Andy, if I can just go in that, I mean, I think it's an absolute amazing opportunity for the students to get a chance to get that access to get and work with national governing body. And I think from my point of view, albeit I've only been employed just under a year here, I'm already relating to a lot of the stuff that I'm doing back to things that I've learned in the classroom. And if I can do that at the same time, if you're learning things in the classroom and you're seeing them actually being delivered in a physical environment, it becomes a lot easier to understand and learn, if you like. So from a teaching point of view, I'd imagine that the opportunity is really there for them. I hope all the students get involved in it. I really do. I think that, I'm sure Drew and Harry would correct me if I'm wrong, but this isn't something that a lot of universities are doing. Certainly from a Scottish volleyball point of view, it's the first time we've had this kind of partnership at this level. I think there's maybe a football-related degree through in Edinburgh, but apart from that, all those sports courses that are out there that are doing degrees out in sports coaching, sports development, I'm not aware of any that have such a close tie to a national governing body and work with that all the way right through from year 1 to year 4. And as I say, every single module that they'll get, there'll be an opportunity to relate it back to some kind of work that we're kind of doing. I can see that Veronica's talked a little bit about in the background there, and Veronica's our competitions officer, and she's just put up a big comment there to say how much she's looking forward to working with the students. So it just shows you that our staff are there. She's mentioned Megan, and as an example there from a kind of non-sporting background, Megan was really highly involved in launching our new brand, helped us design our new logo, but she came in as a student to work with us and used that as a dissertation project. So, the same idea is available there for coaches that are coming in, even without the experience of volleyball or knowledge of volleyball. We can get them from that intro level in year 1 right up to the stage where they're potentially doing a dissertation on the topic by year 4 and have that kind of golden thread running all the way through it. So I think it'll be an easy sell for the students that are there. And if I was a lecturer sitting in first year and I saw the students put their hand up, I would know straight away they're thinking that these are the ones that really want to learn and develop and see this opportunity. So, but in flipping that, Andy, I think probably want to come on to the fact that as much as a benefit to the students, as Harry talked about a little bit earlier on, there's going to be a benefit for us as the national governing body staff, but also for our coaches and our national teams. Is it worth maybe asking some feedback around that and how we feel? I know we've talked about it a lot, but how we feel as if that Harry and Drew and the rest of the team can get involved in our national team programme and help us with that?
Yeah, Harry alluded to this right at the start, that the partnership is going to work both ways, and we've talked off camera in multiple meetings now about the opportunities for these guys to give into our programmes, and we're looking at maybe connections with the national team programme and using some information from that and through some of the students to come back and feed into that programme. Ali Jack gives a big solid wave. He's very keen to explore this thread and bring people on board and look at what we can do to help with the education and get the benefits from it. I think we've also talked about the fact that both of you guys have got interests in sports psychology. So I'm pretty certain there's a few of our volleyballers that you might need to have a look at their heads to see where they're at times. And if that's something that might improve maybe hitting efficiency by 2, 3, 4 points, Ali Jack would be over the moon, and so would Vince Krasic, our women's national team coaches. So we're looking at this as a definite two-way partnership, and hopefully that will bring some tangible quality to what we do as an organisation with that performance level. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited about it, guys. I'm really struggling to contain myself. Here's Gary Martin. Now, this is an interesting one. He was at a UWS. Now, I've known him for some years, and he got involved through my previous life as active schools, and he's progressed pretty well in terms of coaching. He went through a bit of a volleyball world, and there he is. He's great to see. He's enjoying people going down the same road. That's amazing. Well done, Gary. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're delighted with it. I think we can't not talk about Nico. Nico, again, he was somebody that we met through UWS. He's taken on a real role in terms of running the volleyball program there for recreation and competition. And he recently, through working on our webinars, through being in an internship with us, got the opportunity to go coach in Italy for a couple of weeks. So this is one of the real benefits that we're seeing. If you come on this pathway with you guys, UWS, the opportunities for us to put you onto a network of people in and around the world, it's something that we can definitely do. Nico's taking full advantage of it. We're hoping that he's going to give back significantly into the university this year, Drew, because we were talking about this. We're hoping that maybe volleyball being offered inside the academic courses might turn the head of somebody from overseas in terms of where they would want to study.
Yeah, I mean, we hope that in linking up with you guys that we're going to become an attractive option for people from all over that have got a focus in volleyball and plan to have a career in that direction. And it's what we're doing with you, I hope you don't mind me saying, is we're hoping to use this as a kind of pilot partnership in terms of how we can link up more formally with the governing body, because we're obviously aware of the fact that not everybody who comes on our programs are wanting to work in volleyball or hugely interested in volleyball. So we have kind of existing less formal links with some national governing bodies at the moment, but what we're hoping to do, if everything goes as well as it looks like it's going to with Scottish Volleyball, is to take this as a kind of model that we could roll out across other ones. So when people come on our course and they start to study towards their BA Honours Sports Coaching and Development, which is the name of our degree, they can tie that up, just like Blair was saying. Learning by actually being involved with the real world is much, much better, really, than just learning about it in the classroom. So we hope that when you sign up on our degree, you sign up on a kind of pathway within it in a sport that really takes your fancy. And that's the kind of long-term vision we have for these type of relationships, so that we're not just catering to people who love volleyball, but we're widening that out into as many different sports as we can, really. And there was one thing just on the talking about us kind of supporting you, because obviously the relationship has to go both ways to be effective, and it works out quite nicely again because of the alignment between what you do and what we do in our degree. Is that we have people, Harry and I are a skewed sample in that we're both sports psychology, but we have physiologists, and on Lanarkshire campus we're talking about there's strength and conditioning experts, we've got sociologists, we've got lecturers in sports development, we've got all sorts of different areas of expertise, I suppose, where we can hopefully give some value and give some something back to you guys in exchange for what benefits our students are getting through this partnership.
Yeah, and yeah, we've been off air in our pre-meetings. Just every time we have a conversation, it seems like a different door opens up, and we start to think about, oh, that's got this application for you. It's got this application for us as an organisation. It's been really exciting, and we're getting to the stage now where we're trying to go live. So we were talking today about when potentially we might actually be able to get out and physically do some stuff with you guys. You were talking, hopefully, fingers crossed, we might get out to the campus in semester one.
That's certainly the hope, and we always kind of start and finish these conversations with, depending on the state of the world and the country at the time, but it's certainly looking possible at the moment. I was explaining in our chat earlier about if there's parts of our programme that are part of either the programme learning outcomes or the module learning outcomes, things that we need to prove or students need to prove they can do in order to get the award, then they become essential parts of the delivery. And obviously in a sports coaching degree, then practical coaching delivery is in some of these learning outcomes. So unless the rules change between now and term one starting, which is on the 5th of October it starts, that's the first week of teaching, then we hopefully will be able to get you guys in to the campus and get moving with it. So that is extremely exciting.
Yeah, I think, Blair and I, when we started today, we were talking about the fact that we were able to get out this weekend last weekend and do a bit of beach volleyball, and the buzz was great, and that was us actually back being out in the field doing what we love to do. And again, today we were having that conversation with you guys, and we went off screen and went, yeah, we might actually get out there and start this, because as much as we're launching it and we're talking about it, I don't actually know if it'll feel real until we actually get out there and do the things that we're hoping to do. We talked about us coming on board and speaking to the students in the induction phase. So, Harry, what's that going to look like for you, and when's that likely to happen?
So yeah, induction really starts for us at the end of next week. So next Thursday and Friday, depending on what year group that the students are in and if they're returning or existing students. And it's mainly going to be, it's all going to be online. So it's all going to be delivered by one of the members of staff, and they'll be getting up to speed with what their timetable is and what they're going to be learning. And then that gives you really a bit of a platform to come and introduce yourselves and really let them know about these potential opportunities for the students and how they can get involved in volleyball and make that a big part of their university journey. Yeah,
that's fantastic. We were talking about that off air, and we're really looking forward to that initial engagement and really selling what we're doing here. And I think what we're really keen in impressing upon everybody as well is that we want this to really be successful. We want to try and encourage these guys to come on board and take the opportunity to get that real industry feel, that real tangible experience of working firsthand. I think Blair's obviously fortunately positioned that he's been the student at the course and he's now there, and I think it's something that you can definitely see the value in, Blair, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, I did my level 1 with UWS only a year or so ago before I applied for this job with Scottish Volleyball. So I don't think having my level 1 was the sole part of it. But obviously, having my degree helped there as well, and some of the other experience I'd managed to gather in my own time. But I'm all for this, and I think it's a great opportunity for the students. And I build upon what Drew had said with regards to the staff. There's obviously a huge amount of academia and knowledge that the staff have got there, and that we as a team, I'm sure, can learn from them. And also, I mean, one of the avenues we haven't talked about is our coaching qualification. Like the rest of the coaching qualifications in Scotland, is moving away from UKCC, and we've got that kind of point now where our coaches will be licensed. There'll be CPD opportunities, and there'll be points for our coaches to remain qualified. And I'm pretty sure we've touched upon already that some of the staff at UWS will be able to share their knowledge with regards to our CPD for our coaches. So again, I don't know if it was Drew or it was Harry, it's a win-win. There's just wins all over the place. It is, as Colin's just commented there, mutually beneficial opportunities. And I every time we talk, there's something new comes up, and there's another area we think that's going to benefit us. So I'm really excited. I hope the students embrace it as much as I think they will. And I'm really excited to looking forward, and hopefully we'll get to the stage where we are delivering, even if it is online and we're adapting. I'm sure there's going to be benefit for them. There's a student just come in there and just commented for us. New third-year entry student to UWS. Welcome to that, Claire. Really excited to see the partnership, coming with sports science background, like little hands-on coaching. We're looking forward to some volleyball experience. So hopefully that's the same kind of value we can get from all the students coming in. And it's good to see them tuning in tonight to see where that is. So obviously proof will be in the pudding and time will tell, but I think it's a really exciting partnership that everybody can learn something from.
Absolutely. That's a nice message from Claire. Thanks for that. You guys have mentioned a few times the idea of getting that real life work experience, and it's something that we've really consciously added more of into our program, because we're constantly seeking feedback from students and graduates and from members of industry, and it's a recurring theme that we want people graduating, or we want to graduate with real life experience. It's great learning the kind of academic and theory side of it, but we need to couple that up. And this is a great example of where we're acting on that feedback, hopefully for the huge benefit of the students, which I have to say is our number one focus. We're trying to benefit the students on our programme. But then the phrase win-win comes up all the time, like you said there, Blair, in these situations, because you don't have to look hard at all to see where Scottish Volleyball are going to benefit out of this, and see where the staff at UWS are going to benefit out of it, and see where the university as a whole. So it's probably more like win-win-win-win than simply win-win.
Yeah, I think Blair and I, we had a vision in terms of how we wanted to build it going forward, and the opportunities that we were able to offer out in terms of students and at all areas across the 4-year pathway that you guys offer. It was just too good not to explore. Creating a pathway for structured coaching to give them opportunities to not just to go and coach and write up a series of lesson plans, but to actually take a project on from nothing and see it through to completion, to lead on some national level activity where, you know, so often students wouldn't get that chance. So I think this is one of the things that we are really keen on bringing it into our environment, into our gyms. And again, our programs, our national team programs, our regional approach to what we're trying to do are really going to benefit. We've got Blair started up Dig It, which was a recreational side of the game. And again, what we're looking at is being able to get your guys coached, give them the opportunity to go and lead on one of these projects within the local authority. It's a great opportunity, and we're hoping that through our contacts, our connections, that we can get some of the really, really connected coaches into that industry pool so that they're well known before they graduate, and hopefully through their own endeavours are able to then put a really good, strong case forward when it comes time to writing an application. The other great thing that I think that we haven't really mentioned is like the support that we're going to offer these students if they do stick in with us. Blair's obviously the last one of the last members of our team to fill in a job application, a successful job application. So we'll be using Blair and his knowledge of his academic style to the applying that to writing applications. And
you're talking to the wrong folk if you're talking about academia and me. Yeah, both the folk at the bottom of the screen will tell you that wasn't my strong point.
I thought we were just going to pretend you were good at that, Blair, just for this.
There's actually a couple of grades I was wanting to speak about before we just formally sign off the partnership, if that's all right.
I think it's a bit late for you to question grades.
We can revisit them, but they might go down as well.
Right, all jokes aside, you know, and I think we touched upon the fact that getting a degree is very difficult, and it applies that, you know, it requires a lot of determination and hard work. But a degree in its own, whether it be honours, it's not enough to get you a job in the sporting world. And if we want to make sure the students that are leaving UWS are ready for employment, then I think what this partnership will do is certainly get them, if they engage with it and if they follow all the way through from that initial intro course in first year and some local basic coaching, right all the way through to fourth year, where they're potentially doing the level 2 and shadowing either a regional or national team squad. They're going to leave with some absolutely valuable experience that's going to set them stand out when they go to get an interview, whether it be active schools or a different path altogether, and they want to go and do a PE postgrad, which I know a number of the students do want to do that. To have that knowledge of a skill or a sport is fantastic, and it's not just about the coaching. There's that whole development point of view of it as well. And as the regional development officer for the West of Scotland, I'm more than delighted to work closely with students so they can get an understanding of how we develop the sport and let them lead in some of them as well. So it's a great opportunity. I risk seeing it over again, but I'm extremely excited.
Yeah, I think as well, one of the things that we talked is, from us, it's a volleyball point of view, but for you, it's a student opportunity. We're hoping that through some of the delivery, some people might really engage with it, And again, the extracurricular activity that the university offers, there is that volleyball outlet there, and possibly one of the fastest growing volleyball clubs, because it's only the University Volleyball Club is only a few years old. And I think, that there's an opportunity there to play recreationally and a bit more competitively within the university. So for us, it's an easy hit to go in and do the academic side of things, but we're also providing through, again, the coaches that you've already trained. There's that outlet there to enjoy a social game of volleyball and explore what you're learning and see what you can do in terms of maybe playing for the university, which is great.
Yeah, we see that as really important. Not least because we are a sports degree, but I loved being involved with university sport when I did my degree, and I really felt I gained a lot from it. In terms of my satisfaction, just being on that degree and all the kind of friendship links you make from being involved in a sport. And I think this relationship that we're forming with Scottish Volleyball, it has to increase those opportunities even more. Like you're saying, it's growing really quickly at UWS. We strongly encourage people to get involved with the sports team if they can at all. So they get Wednesday afternoons when everything's normal to play and compete in the Bucks leagues, or whether they just want to play recreationally. And like I said, we think that's an important part of university life, not just for sports students, for anybody who has an interest in sports studying any degree whatsoever. But we strongly encourage people to get involved in that, whether it's just playing, but then it opens up opportunities, like you're saying, with coaching and organising, and maybe they become the president of the club, and that's great for when they're applying for jobs. And again, just loads of opportunities through sport, volleyball in particular.
Brilliant. Well, we're coming up on our sort of hour on screen. We're getting close to wrapping it up. From my point of view, there's so many boxes that we've ticked with it. I'm just so excited about potentially getting back out and starting to make a difference in the lives of the students at UWS. Harry, what are you looking forward to the most? What are you thinking about it?
I'm looking forward really just to the social element, to be able to be in a position where students can maybe even play volleyball, like just kind of Drew was saying, and just to be able to enjoy sport. And like I've maybe mentioned before, this is a sport where maybe students can take part and not feel as it maybe a high risk as maybe contact sports. And I think this is a great opportunity for students to get back and to feel safe when they're playing sport. And I think this is just going to be a great thing for them socially and for their health and hopefully their academic journey as well. So very much looking forward to it on all fronts.
Brilliant. Blair?
Yeah, I think I've said everything. Yeah, I'm quite excited about the whole thing. It'd be great to see. I'm really excited actually, if I could fast forward 4 years, to see one of the new first years that's maybe even taken part in volleyball to get that thread, to follow all the way right through, and hopefully Scottish Volleyball is in the stage in 4 years' time where we're expanding. We're looking at bringing a new development officer, and there's a real success story around the back of this partnership. That's where I would like to see in 4 or 5 years' time that we could do that, and there's every real possibility that could be the case.
Final word for you, Drew. Would that be a fantastic achievement from this?
It's a lot of pressure on me, Andy. But the one thought that's been going through my head is, you mentioned the pre-teams meeting that we had before we came on tonight, and Harry and I stayed after for a quick chat. And one of the things we said during that chat was, after every meeting that we've had with you guys, which have been really energizing and brilliant, like you say, it's like we come up with a new way for students and you guys to benefit every meeting, is that we really feel we're really, really excited about this partnership, and we feel that being reciprocated from you. It's like we're both sides are equally as excited about where this could go and the doors that it could open for our students. So is that okay for a closing statement?
Yeah, I'm feeling the love, Blair. We're feeling the love from UWS.
Feel the love.
Fantastic. Well, do you know something, fellas? To today's been an amazing social media launch. Both of our marketing departments have been hard at it, producing quality social media. It's been out there. Again, from today's chat, it'll be available to watch back on YouTube and Facebook Live with us on our Scottish Volleyball channel. So if anybody hasn't had the opportunity to really listen to what we're saying out here live, they can watch it back at any time. And really, from there, come and chap our doors, ask questions, and like Harry and Andrew said, on the 5th, we're hopefully going to come on to that induction chat and really try and sell this to the students on that day. For me, again, absolutely loved having you guys on. I know that we only spoke a few hours ago, but we're really engaged in this partnership. We're really engaged in this process, and just absolutely buzzing to get out there and start. So hopefully we can get that happening soon. Gentlemen, what we'll do is we'll drop you off screen, then Blair and I will quickly wrap this up, and then we'll jump backstage and have a quick chat before we allow you to go on. So thank you very much for joining us this evening on SVTV.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we'll speak to you shortly. Blair, another amazing Monday night.
Buzzing, honestly. I mind you, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself next Monday.
Well, yeah, we're going to be at the end of September, and it's we've had a really busy month with announcements and partnerships, and we've had a big social media engagement. I think what we'll look to do is try and do some sort of combination event, some Facebook Live. We might get some of the rest of the staff out, because all of these partnerships are going to impact in every one of our working days. So maybe next Monday night is just that Facebook Live. So who knows? SVTV is not going away though.
Definitely not. I think it's been a great way to engage, certainly for the numbers and stuff like that. We do appreciate the guests coming on, but also appreciate you, the members, tuning in, whatever it is you're doing at home just now. You're sitting on your iPad or your phone or your laptop and catching up with what's going on. And hopefully you're a bit as excited as all these new partnerships as we are. We've worked really, really hard over the last 8 to 10 months to deliver the last 4 weeks of partnerships to you, starting off obviously with that new brand and everything that goes with it. And what you'll now see over the next 4 months to 4 years is all those partnerships coming to fruition and the hard work that we put in to get the groundwork, and hopefully you'll all start to see the benefit with it. So stick with us, the best is yet to come, as I say.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's wrap this up and then we'll go and say cheerio to our this evening's guests. So for me, it's good night.
And for me, it's good night too. Night, folks.